Are you ready to step into a world where respect is earned, with blood and loyalty is bought with gold? What? Where shadows hold secrets and whispers can cost you your life? Well then, grab a cup of coffee because we're about to take you on a wild ride through the dark underbelly of society. This is where the rules are made and broken, where power is measured in carats, and where death is just another Tuesday. Welcome to Fear the Mafia Underworld. We all know that the Italian Mafia has been romanticized in movies and TV shows, but let's be real, these guys weren't making sweet little cakes. They were running a criminal organization that would make your blood run cold. And who was at the top of this sinister pyramid? You guessed it, the Don. He was the godfather, the big cheese, the man with the golden toilet. Okay, maybe not that last one, but you get the picture. The Don was the boss. He was the one who called the shots. And if you crossed him, well, let's just say you wouldn't be needing that third kidney stone operation after all.
Ow.
Now, being a Don wasn't for the faint of heart. It took a special kind of crazy to handle that kind of power and responsibility. We were talking about a guy who could go from charming gentleman to ruthless mobster faster than you could say, "I'll have a glass of your finest vintage," if you know what I mean. But if you did catch the Don in a good mood, he might just share some of his wisdom with you over a nice plate of pasta and a bottle of wine. So here are 5 things you learn when you hang out with the Don. No. 1. Family is everything. In the Mafia Underworld, family wasn't just mom, dad, and sis. It was a brotherhood of blood and soil. The Don lived and died by this code. His family was his empire, and he'd do anything to protect them. It didn't matter if they were guilty or not. If you mess with one member of the family, you mess with all of them. And you better believe that there was no such thing as family therapy in the Mafia. If you had issues with your cousin Vinny, you settled it with a fist fight in an abandoned warehouse. After all, the Don's family was his business, and he didn't want any outside interference. So if you thought you could waltz in and break up a Mafia family feud like some kind of meddling kids' cartoon, well, you were sorely mistaken. These guys were serious. They took their family squabbles seriously, and they weren't afraid to spill blood to keep it that way. 2. Respect is earned. In the cutthroat world of the Mafia, respect wasn't something you were born with. It was something you fought for, clawed for, and sometimes killed for. The Don understood this better than anyone. He knew that the only way to earn respect in this world was to show that you were willing to do whatever it took to get the job done. No whining, no complaining, just results. And if you couldn't hack it, you were out. In this world, you either had to be the hammer or the nail, and the Don preferred to be the hammer. 3. Trust is hard-won, easily lost. The Don surrounded himself with loyal men, but even they had to earn his trust. It was a long and arduous process that involved years of proving yourself time and time again. One slip-up and that trust was gone, replaced by suspicion and distrust. The Don never forgot a betrayal, no matter how small, because in this world, you never knew who you could trust. Even the closest allies could turn on you in a heartbeat, so you had to be cautious. The Don knew this well. He was the master of keeping people close and watching them like a hawk. And if you thought you could fool him, well, you were in for a world of hurt. Number 4. Secrets are currency. In the shadowy world of the Mafia, secrets were more valuable than gold. The Don knew this well. He used secrets to gain power, to control people, and to protect himself. Secrets were his currency, and he traded them carefully, always weighing the risks and rewards. Betraying the Don's trust by leaking a secret could cost you your life. That's why everyone in the Mafia was always walking on eggshells, never knowing when they might step on one and unleash a deadly consequence. 5. Power corrupts. The Don sat at the pinnacle of power, and yet he knew it was a dangerous place to be. Power corrupted even the best of men, and he saw it happen all too often around him. That's why he was so careful to keep his men in check, to remind them that power wasn't everything. But let's be honest, when you've got that kind of power, it's hard not to get a little cocky. The Don was no exception. He knew he was powerful, and he used that power to get what he wanted. But he also knew that it was a double-edged sword, and he walked that tightrope carefully, always aware that one wrong move could bring it all crashing down. Now, while these lessons might sound like the plot of a gangster movie, They actually have some real-world applications. In business, in relationships, and in life in general. It's important to remember that family, respect, trust, secrets, and power are all things that need to be handled with care. The Mafia may be a thing of the past, but the lessons they taught us about these things are still relevant today. Of course, we don't condone their methods, but we can still learn from their mistakes. But let's be honest, the real reason we love the Mafia stories is because they're just so damn entertaining. There's something about the clash between good and evil, the battle between honor and dishonor that just gets us every time. Let's face it, who doesn't love a good old-fashioned mob movie marathon? Just don't tell the FBI we said that. Now, we could keep talking about the Mafia and their wacky ways all day. But we know you came here for one thing, to learn some cool facts. So let's wrap this up with 5 quick Mafia fun facts that will leave you saying, I'm gone, nah, make you an offer, you couldn't refuse. Here goes. Did you know that the Mafia wasn't just an Italian thing? Sure, it started in Italy, but it spread to other countries like the US, Canada, and Australia like wildfire. In fact, there were even mafias in Russia and Japan. You heard that right? The Yakuza? They were Japan's answer to the Mafia, except with even cooler tattoos. The Mafia wasn't just a bunch of guys hanging out and making bad decisions. They were a well-oiled machine with a surprisingly sophisticated organizational structure. They had meetings, minutes, records. They even kept their own books. Okay, maybe not that last one. The Mafia wasn't just about crime. They were also involved in a lot of business, like construction, waste management, and even politics. In fact, some of the biggest construction companies in the US had Mafia ties. Talk about concrete connections. The Mafia wasn't just violent, they were also very superstitious. They believed in things like good luck charms, lucky numbers, and even voodoo. Maybe that's why they always carry those little bags of garlic. You never know. The Mafia wasn't just a thing in the past. They're still around today, although they've gone a bit low profile lately. According to the FBI, there are still about 3,000 Mafia families in the US alone. So if you see a group of guys in a dimly lit room talking in hushed voices, you might want to steer clear. They could be up to no good. Or they could just be discussing their fantasy football scores. Who knows? Well, there you have it, folks. 5 things you learn when you hang out with the Don, and 5 Mafia fun facts that LL make you feel like a real wise guy. Remember, family, respect, trust, secrets, and power are all things to be handled with care. Unless, of course, you're a Mafia boss. Then you can do whatever you want. Just don't be surprised when it all blows up in your face. Like, subscribe and comment below with your thoughts. We'll catch you next time.